Hi guys! It's been a minute. What am I saying? It's been 12 whole months. It's been a year since I've even touched my camera. It's been collecting dust. Over the past year, I've gone through like 3 different hair changes, just so many different things. But the most important of them all is that I think I'm getting really close to becoming the woman that I've always dreamt of being. And I kind of went completely off the grid, off social media in the past year because it was really like my intention to spend a whole year to work on myself and become the best version of myself. And I always thought, okay, when I feel ready, when I feel like I'm really close to being the woman I've always dreamt of, I would love to just share all this advice and knowledge. So here I am. I'm actually going to be doing my makeup at the same time because that's the only thing I have going for myself. And let's just chat, okay? Let's just talk about everything I've learned in the past year. I wish I had a video like this 1 year ago. So you're gonna get it all in hopefully under 10 minutes. So let's just talk woman to woman. There's no right way to start this kind of video, but I think the most important thing that I wanted to touch on is confidence. Where does confidence stand when you're, a woman figuring yourself out, trying to be the best version of yourself? So let me tell you something. I always thought, okay, when I dye my hair or when I lose a bunch of weight, I will be like the most confident person on the planet. And I did those things. I actually lost I think 20 pounds in the past year or two. And then I was like, still not feeling it. And then I thought, okay, let me dye my hair blonde. That sounds really pretty and gorgeous. I did that and I felt great. Still, I didn't snap my fingers and I didn't feel any sense of confidence. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that confidence will never, ever, ever fall in your lap. Obviously, with that being said, confidence it comes and goes. It literally comes in waves. And I just feel like being the woman that you've always dreamt of being can only happen if you allow yourself to be confident in the moment, not when you reach a certain weight or when you have a certain wardrobe. And you know what's crazy is the next thing I want to get into is discipline. So confidence and discipline go hand in hand because you'll start to feel so confident once you actually show up for yourself and once you actually discipline yourself. The biggest learning lesson in all of this has been that to become the woman that we've always dreamt of being, that involves delayed gratification. And what I mean by that is, let's say you had a goal of getting in shape. Well, that goal is probably going to take, let's say, 6 months. In those 6 months, you might not see any results. It's probably going to take 6 to 12 months to even see something. But in those 6 months, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable and showing up for yourself, even though you're not going to see results instantly the next day. And they always say good things take time. But there's so much under the umbrella of discipline. I've also learned that you really need to stick to your word. You can't be that flaky friend. You can't be that flaky coworker. If you can't show up for others or if you're making promises that you can't keep up with, you're gonna look flaky. And when I'm feeling oh my God, I just want to get out of this situation that I promised to be in, I always put myself in the shoes of the woman that I've always wanted to be, and I would be like, what would she do? If she promised to show up to something, she should show up in the best way possible. Because honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't feel good to know that everyone looks at you as unreliable. And I couldn't make this video without talking about the elephant in the room, which I think every woman goes through, which is comparison and self-doubt. And this is something that my younger self, even 1 year ago, struggled with so much. How could you not compare yourself? But get this, I would always tell myself, does the woman that I've always dreamt of being compare herself to others? Or does she just stay in her own lane and focus on what's ahead? When you don't focus on what's ahead of you, you'll just allow years to go by where you're constantly just invested in what other people are doing because you're not focused on what you're doing. And when you're focused on what's ahead of you, it's so much more productive. Comparison is also really unproductive because you're never focused on the things that you want to get done. It would just suck to not be focused on accomplishing your dreams because you're too busy being sidetracked by other people's, because that's how time will just pass you by. But I know I just talked about comparison, and I think I really truly believe that comparison stems from self-doubt. That is something that I am still working on. But one thing that I learned is that self-doubt can really, really hold you back. For example, right, with this channel, guys, I would get embarrassed at the slightest things, even putting my hair up in a bun. This sounds so stupid, just even explaining. Once, this is pretty serious, I filmed a video and I noticed that my nose hair was abnormally long. Now that's something that I think that's valid enough for me to scrape the video, but not me putting my hair up in a bun or trying a new video concept and getting embarrassed over that. Embarrassment, it's so unproductive. Just throw it away. And I think life is too short. If you're constantly gonna doubt yourself, you'll never get to do the things that you've dreamt of doing. Like, years are just gonna pass by where you're just allowing yourself year over year to not reach your potential. I just feel like every woman should get a chance to reach her full potential. And you can only do that once you nip self-doubt. Once you nip self-doubt in the butt. And once you do that, everything will start to make more sense again. And again, you get closer to being the woman that you've always dreamt of becoming. I just really have to shout Miss Tilbury out because this powder is the only thing that's been keeping me going this year. Like, it just basically gave me a whole new face for the whole year. So shout out to her in helping me become the woman that I've always wanted to be. So another thing that I wanted to talk about that I know some people might not like, but it's like the hard truth, right? Like, part of becoming the woman that you've always dreamt of being is accepting the hard truths. So you know how people always say, like, always examine how you feel after you've hung out with a certain person, whether that's friends or family. Well, I think it's also really important to examine how you might have made other people feel after spending time with them. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're the type of woman that wants to be the loudest in the room. Did you leave that room knowing that you made people feel empowered and confident, or did you do the opposite of that? So, like, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, like, I feel like a real woman always is self-aware of how she makes other people feel. Like, you know, let's say you're in a group of friends and you're the one that's constantly like making triggering jokes or like being rude for no reason. Once you can understand how you make other people feel, you can kind of control yourself more and kind of understand, hey, like, next time I want to make this group of people feel empowered or inspired, or I just want to make them feel loved. And if you're doing anything that's outside of that, that's a clear sign that you need to be self-aware, and that self-awareness will take you so far. I know I just talked about being aware of how you make other people feel, but of course it's also so important to see and evaluate the people in your life. Like, are you learning anything new from your group of friends or family, or are they kind of just contributing to you being stagnant in life? Because I really think that being the woman that you've always dreamt of becoming involves learning from others, like sitting back and, you know, listening to like-minded people or friends. Because if you have people in your life that you align with in terms of your goals and dreams, and sharing, you know, knowledge with each other or a group of women will just help you all get to that finish line together. Okay, my camera died and I know a lot changed, including the part. Last thing I wanted to talk about is moving your body. I know it's such an annoying thing to hear, but let me tell you something. I used to only want to move my body for the purposes of being skinny and like looking snatched. And then I changed my mindset. I said, the ideal woman who moves her body wants to move her body so that when she's 80 or 75, she's able to run after her grandchildren, or like, you know, maybe run a marathon. Like, just changing my mindset like that allowed me to enjoy fitness and enjoy moving my body. I think it's just so important to have like a proper intention when it comes to things. Instead of focusing on like how you look, think of the long-term effects. Like, you know, you can still be your dream woman when you're 80 plus years old, because, you know, you still put in the work to move your body for things that have to do outside of your, you know, like physical cosmetic goals. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I just want to say that, you know what, I just hope that this helped you try to become the woman that you've always dreamt of being. So here it is, it's all yours, and I'll always be here if you need help on the way. Bye.